Lots of highs and hellos from everyone. That's good to hear. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anyone I should pick on. No, I'm just kidding. I won't pick on anybody. Well, if there's nothing new, I just wanted to share that I'm happy to be with you. This is really great news. Bryn's about to hit a major goal. That's fantastic. Jenny's having dreams of colonoscopies. We're going to talk about thoughts tonight, Jenny. Kim finally spoke to Komen. Congratulations. Hopefully that's good news. Cherie, welcome back. Happy to have you. Man, Cherie, can I hear about your major milestones in your business? I would love to hear what's going on. Cherie, I'm calling on you. If you're willing, come join us and let us know what's going on. What's good and new? How are you? Oh, I haven't unmuted you. Hang on one sec. There you are.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm so good. I've missed Dream School so much.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. So February 1st, I made a few hardcore goals for myself for my business. And I accomplished them all for February, and so far I'm on target for March. I added in 2 more goals for March, and I haven't missed them. And I've grown my business productivity by about 50%.
What?
Yeah.
Man,
yeah, it's exciting.
I think we all just want to pause and just have you teach us everything you're doing, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's great news. Congratulations. Way to go.
It is exciting. Thank you.
What's one lesson learned in the process? What have you learned? What's one lesson learned in the process?
So I think I reached out. I reached out to those that I saw doing things that I thought were impactful and asked to have a conversation with them, and they said yes. 3 different people who are kind of rocking this, and that helped because I just reached out and I said, I want to know, how are you managing this with everything else in your life? And they were really practical. And I think the best thing I was told, 2 things, is 1, law of averages is always on your side. So go
get the right numbers. It's all going to work out.
Yes. Law of averages is on your side, and trying something means you try it consistently for 60 days or it doesn't count as trying.
Oh, I love that. That's a great advice. It's kind of that spirit of, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
Consistent and methodical over a period of time for you to begin to see results.
Yeah. And so I did my goals for February without missing, which continued into March, but I got to add in a couple more. And I actually brought in 3 buddies of mine who sell. We aren't even on the same teams, but I said, hey, I think that this will be beneficial to you, and it will be beneficial to me to have a daily accountability with buddies. Great. And so they totally joined in March with kind of like my daily, what we do every day. And it's been awesome.
Cool. Well, I know there's probably some people listening saying, hey, will you just share what you do every day in our Dream School side of things, if there's a list or something? And if you're willing to share, that'd be really cool. Thanks, Cherie.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Some really great principles there, if you're listening. Some really great principles about accountability, some really great principles about consistency, some great Dream School principles there. Very, very cool. All right. So, hey, tonight is, I think, is something we've talked about before. This is not new material, but I want to go a layer deeper, because to me, this is perhaps the most important principle that we can learn in order to gain great power and consistency in accomplishing dreams. And it will either be the thing that gives us victory in accomplishing our dreams, or it'll be the thing that is, in the end, defeat if we don't accomplish our dreams. It all hinges on the role and the impact of our thoughts. And so tonight is all about our thoughts. And one of the things I'd love to just kind of share with you is we're going to start by sharing a video. So I'm going to share with you a video. I was trying to get the audio right. It may just show up. It might come through my mic a little scratchy. If it does, that's just fine. But I want to start by sharing a video. And this video helps us to see, because one of the core principles of understanding and recognizing thoughts is this simple idea. The simple idea is that two different people can see the same circumstance, the same thing happen, and both come away with very different perspectives or interpretations of what really went on. And so here's a beautiful, kind of funny example of two people who are dealing with the same thing, but coming at it from completely different perspectives. And so I want to share this video, watch and see, just to kind of give yourself some sense of how your perception can dramatically impact how things work. All right, here we go. All right, wait. It's coming. Ah, there it is. Ready, set, go.
It's just, there's all this pressure, you know? And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me. And I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head. And it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I mean, I'll bet if we got that out of there.
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing.
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
See, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail.
See, you're not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just, sometimes it's like, there's this achy, I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
That sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. If you would just
Don't.
try to say things.
Okay, so such a great video. So here we have two different perspectives, both dealing with the same set of circumstances, and those circumstances are being interpreted wildly differently. Now, I'm not here to judge which side is right or wrong. I simply want us all to become more aware of the fact that we recognize or we see circumstances. So in this case, the circumstance is, what is the circumstance in this case? The woman has a nail in her head. Agreed, right? That's the fact of the matter. But both are interpreting the circumstance very differently. And who is right? Ooh, we could ask that question. Who's right? Fingers typing. Both, right? There isn't a right. The only truth is that there's a nail in her head. That's the only truth. Everything else is their perspective, their thoughts, their interpretations of that truth. So I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint here. And we are going to, I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share with you this kind of concept. So we start by kind of recognizing that video. And now I want to talk through this model. This is the Brooke Castillo model. We've referenced it before. But I want us just as a reminder, a refresher of the model. So here's the model. The model simply says, when we have a circumstance in our lives, this could be a conversation we have with someone else. It could be a result. It could be we don't sell. It could be alive. It could be our husband is angry or our wife is angry. It could be whatever the circumstance is. Now, when you think of circumstance, think facts. This is objective, not subjective. We know the difference, right? Objective, it means that if 100 of the same people saw it, they would all say it was the same thing. If everyone looked up at the sky, they would all say it's blue, objective. And so circumstances are objective, not subjective. But when a circumstance happens, it usually triggers thoughts in our brains, an interpretation of the circumstance. The sky is blue. Isn't that lovely? Right? And maybe someone else looks at the sky and says, the sky is blue. Isn't that terrible? Because in one person's mind, they're planning on a picnic, and the other person is a farmer hoping for rain. Do you see how the thoughts then interpret the circumstance? So then we have thoughts. Those thoughts yield feelings. Look at the sky. The sky is blue. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to have a great picnic today, is the thought. Feeling, joy, exuberance, anticipation. Look at the sky is blue. The thought, that means no rain. Maybe my crops won't survive. Feeling, despair, frustration, fear. Do you see how the thoughts then trigger the emotions? And then the emotions, those thoughts and emotions then trigger actions. Man, what a beautiful day for the picnic's going to be great today. Man, I'm going to go invite maybe some more people. Or I'm going to make sure that I go out and enjoy a picnic. Farmer, no crops. All right, yields actions. I'm going to get frustrated with my spouse because I'm afraid. I'm going to get snippy and annoyed because I'm getting afraid and nervous. Everyone following that? Is that making sense? And so as we look at and consider the way our thoughts impact our actions, there's one final step, and that is there are certain results. There are things that happen as a result of the work that we do. So what results show up if I'm the farmer and I get stressed because the sky is blue, and I take actions where I get annoyed with my kids or I yell at my spouse, there are going to be certain results. Maybe the results are that I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. And so what we sometimes miss in this whole thing of life, that because it plays on the subconscious, is we miss the fact that all of the results in our lives come as a result of initial thoughts or interpretations of the circumstances that we are given. I repeat, all thoughts are leading to all results. Now, to give us a clearer picture, I'm going to show another video. Tonight's video night, apparently, at Dream School. I'm going to share another video. And in this video, I want you to be paying attention to this pattern. And I'll kind of talk you through it as we go. But the pattern is, here we have, trying to find the video. All right, so here we have my favorite person, Will Smith, in a movie entitled The Pursuit of Happiness, a really great film. There we go. Sorry, everyone, technical. It really is gonna be great. Okay, so here we have, everyone see okay? All right, great. So here we have Will Smith, and I want you to watch, if you haven't seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness, outstanding. The premise of the movie is that Will Smith is a down-on-the-luck father trying to make his way in the world. And here he is on the basketball court with his son, and his son's playing basketball, enthusiastic, boyish enthusiasm. And let's kind of take a look at, as Will Smith introduces a thought into this boy's mind, what feelings, results, etc. show up. By the way, somebody chime in, just be my eyes and ears, maybe Maria, let me make sure you can see and hear okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know, you'll probably be about as good as I was. That's kind of the way it works, and I was below average, so you'll probably ultimately rank somewhere around there, so really you'll excel at a lot of things, just not this. I don't want you out here shooting this ball around all day and night.
You know, the interesting thing, I'm going to pause it. The interesting thing about what's happening here is Will Smith's introducing a new idea to his son. His son starts enthusiastic, I'm going pro. And then this thought pops in. Now, the reason I love this example is I can imagine a basketball court in my own brain. And my dreams show up and they're like, I'm going pro. And then that rut, that fear pops up with a thought. And it sounds a lot like Will Smith in this film. All right, let's keep watching. Let's watch what that new idea, that new thought does to this young man.
Right? Right. Like, look. Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right? You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
All right. Oh, so good. So good. So good. So good. But the principle, our analogy here is here are a basketball court in our mind. In our basketball court in our mind, what do we have? We have Will Smith initially introducing a thought that says, hey, you're probably going to be about as good as I would be. And if we continued on the path of that thought and we just followed that path, what would the results, what would the outcomes likely be for his son? Right? He likely would turn out to be something like his dad. So if the thought is probably going to be like me, his feeling is kind of frustration, kind of like down on himself. And then if you look at it, his actions would be, I'm not going to play, I'm not going to practice, I'm not going to try. And then the result is, I'm not that great of a basketball player. But luckily, his father catches that mid-thought. He interrupts it. He says, listen, whoa. I made a mistake. I introduced a thought that probably wasn't going to get the result I was looking for. I'm now going to introduce a new thought. And this thought is going to be that you should chase your dreams no matter what. And you shouldn't let anyone get in your way, even me. So a new thought is introduced. What kind of feelings do you think that initiates in his son? Consideration, optimism, hope, encouragement. What actions is that son likely to take? We might play basketball, we might do something else. But he's going to move forward with increased confidence, probably going to practice more, he's going to give it a try. That's what he wants. And what result will inevitably follow? He's going to be a better basketball player as a result of that. Does that make sense? Now, that's us just getting started. So let me kind of, so when we look at our rut, when we look at our path, we have to recognize that in our rut is full of these kinds of thoughts. And so I want you to begin to ask questions like this, to ask where in your life do you see results stemming from your thoughts? Can you start connecting the dots there, I guess is the question. Take a look at your health. Is your health reflective of the thoughts that are showing up in your world? Are your relationships reflective of your thoughts? And you start to recognize, man, my brain is doing a lot of work. And in many cases, it's getting in the way of my ability to pursue my dreams and accomplish bigger things. And so when we see the role of thoughts, we see this pattern. If you'll remember when we originally taught this idea, that we gave the analogy of the deer, and the deer would wander back and forth, and the rut is actually created as a path that's formed in the ground through constant repetition. Well, when we have thoughts, and those thoughts, we repeat those thoughts again and again, we inevitably create beliefs in our lives. So this is what happens when we understand the model of thoughts leading to results. Well, what happens when we do it repeatedly, when we have the same thought again and again? It yields beliefs. And when we feel the same feelings again and again, what does that create? Create certain attitudes. When we do certain things, we take certain actions again and again, we create habits. And when we do the same habits again and again, we eventually create a lifestyle. This is our rut. Our rut is a sum total of the beliefs, attitudes, and habits, and then the resultant lifestyle that's created. Oh, sorry about the monitor. You probably want to see this one. Thanks for letting me know that, Megan. But do you see how our thoughts, beliefs, etc. are impacting? They're impacting the way that we look at things. Did that fix it, by the way? Hopefully. And so we create a certain lifestyle, and that lifestyle is created as a result of our beliefs, attitudes, and habits. And if we're going to go chase down a new dream, inevitably a part of any significant pursuit of any significant dream of significance is going to require that we change our beliefs, change our attitudes, and change our habits. Now, these beliefs, habits, and attitudes show up far more powerfully, more persuasively, they're more soaked into our skin, so to speak, than just thoughts and feelings. They begin to create identity, and we begin to kind of identify that this is who we are. All right? So this is a big idea. And of course, in order to kind of model it, I'm going to share one final video clip. So we're going to share one more video clip. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with this film. The film is called Rudy. It is one of my favorite films of all time, perhaps because it tells an incredible story of an incredible dreamer. And Rudy is the short story is that Rudy comes from a middle-class family, but has a dream of attending and going to Notre Dame. And the only trouble is that Notre Dame is this college in which you have to be a great athlete, a smart kid. I mean, you have to have something special about you in order to go to Notre Dame. Rudy doesn't seem to have any of those special attributes. He's not big enough to play on the football team, which is his dream, to play football at Notre Dame. But he's small, scrawny, and he's just doesn't have the physical build to play there. And so I'm going to share this video where his father stops him at the bus stop. And he stops him at the bus stop just at the moment that he is heading off to chase down his dream. Now listen to his father's belief system. It is a strong, thick belief system. And see how that belief system has permeated the life, the attitude of his father, his habits, his behaviors, and his consistent behaviors, the way he conducts his life, and then eventually his lifestyle gets affected by his beliefs. Let's watch.
Dad, what are you doing here?
You can take a couple of weeks off. Your grandfather saved all of his life to bring the family to this country. You got a good job in the stockyards. You had a nice little house in South Chicago. I was about 12. Somebody sold him on the ID-8. You ought to move to the country and become a dairy farmer. You think, Like, he buys some land, gets a couple hundred cows. Within 5 months, every one of those cows was dead with disease. There was a depression. Couldn't sell the land. There's no work. So one day, he took off.
I'm pausing right there simply to say that he just described the circumstance. All that is true. We're going to assume all of that is true. He took off. He lost cows in the Depression. There weren't jobs, and he took off. And that's all that happened. Everything else that we'll see is an interpretation.
Didn't come back. My brothers and me, we split up to live with.
A little more circumstance here.
Chasing a stupid dream causes nothing but you and everyone around you heartache. Notre Dame is for rich kids, smart kids, great athletes. It's not for us. You're a Rudiger. There's nothing in the world wrong with being a Rudiger. You can have a nice life. Frank is going to take over Plan Number 2 in a couple of years. He'll make more than me and Johnny. You know he's in charge of the expansion program.
I don't want to be Frank, John.
Oh, such a great film. Such a great film. If you haven't seen that one, put it on your Netflix and track it down. So again, here we have we have a dog outside. Here we have, so here we have our friend Rudy, and Rudy, I have to close my window, and Rudy, right? Yeah, just give me a second, close my window. Such a beautiful day out, so I have the window open and the dog can hear me, next to the neighbor's dog. So again, here we have Rudy. He has this strong belief system that he can go do something, and yet here's his dad shows up with this really powerful belief, and that powerful belief is really getting in the way of his ability to accomplish anything. So the question I give you is, how did this belief system, this recurring thought of his dad leaving and his interpretation that meant, man, if you chase your dreams, you fail and hurt everyone. That was his thought. But he kept repeating that thought over and over again until that became truth, it became fact. And how did that impact his father? How did that change him? Well, clearly, right? It had a pretty powerful effect on his father, in which he couldn't leave the rut, and his rut was working at the plant, and he handed that rut down to his sons. And somewhere along the way, Rudy got this dream in his head, and it allowed him to escape the rut. It allowed him to do something differently. And again, the reason I share that is simply to help us recognize, to realize the impact of our beliefs, our attitudes, our habits, and how that begins to create a lifestyle for us. And tonight, I don't know that I can help you solve it right away, but I do want us to begin to gain an awareness of our thoughts and gain an awareness of our beliefs and how those things are impacting and influencing us. I've started really digging. I mean, I've started practicing this far more deliberately in my life, especially in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks. And I mean, I've had a lot of challenging thoughts pop up as you're starting a new business, and you have to get really deliberate and really conscientious about those thoughts and how they're impacting you. And as I've done that, I found I've had huge breakthroughs in my ability to be put in lots of effort, to work really hard. And I want to share just one experience. I remember one day I was feeling really down. I was my feeling at the time was feeling kind of depressed. And I was evidently showing it to my wife. I was feeling down and cranky. And my wife came to me and said something like, "Hey, what's your thought?" And I was like, "Oh, I just feel down. I don't have a thought connected to it." And I paused and I said, "All right, let me back this up to circumstance. What's my circumstance right now?" And I took a deep breath and I tried to clear away all my thoughts and just to notice my physical state. Because really what was happening when I actually slowed down is I had a little bit of a headache. My body was feeling a little anxious, like I could feel my nerves a little on edge. Maybe I was feeling a little anxiety. I was having anxiety. And I could feel that in my body. And as I felt that in my body, and I knew that was my circumstance, my wife suggested, "Why don't you just accept that and just embrace it? Just not fight it, just to kind of embrace that that's what's going on." She's wiser than I am sometimes. And I just kind of paused and I embraced it, and I didn't try to fight it. I just said, "Man, here I am. I'm feeling this. What do you know? I'm not going to let that get me down. It's just going to be what it is." And I tried to change my thought from, "Man, I'm bugged and I feel annoyed," or I'm going to bring my whole family down, or whatever the thoughts were that were trying to justify the circumstance. And I just changed it to one of, you know what? I'm going to embrace this feeling I'm having. I'm going to embrace my headache. I'm going to embrace it all. And it changed the feeling, not to one of exuberance, but to one of acceptance and peace with what was going on. And what were my actions shifted from acting cranky to my family to acting enthusiastic. And we had an incredible day together, was the result. And so it was an awesome breakthrough. And I don't know if it was a breakthrough, but it was a reinforcement for me that we do have control, even in those moments where we feel the least kind of happy or enthusiastic, or maybe something really is, we have some kind of negative feeling showing up. That can usually be our best alarm bell to recognize when we have some thoughts, usually subconscious or involuntary thoughts, that might be getting in the way. And so a good process to follow, if you're having some negative emotion, if you can pull yourself out of it, maybe you have a good spouse that will do the same. But if you can't pull yourself out of it for just a moment and say, "What am I feeling? I'm feeling frustrated with my kids." And then I want you to pause, and I want you to go one step back and say, "What thought am I having right now? My kids don't respect me. I'm a bad mom." Whatever the thought is that's showing up. And then you backtrack to the circumstance. What's actually happening? Well, my son is being distracted by a video game, and that's what's happening. He's being distracted by a video game. That's it. Yet I'm interpreting it as I'm a bad parent, and that's making me feel frustrated. Do you see that? And then you can practice. You can try out new thoughts. You can say, instead of me thinking I'm a bad parent, I'm going to think, I bet a lot of parents struggle with kids and video games, and I'm a pretty good parent. Doesn't mean that I'm a bad parent. And then how are you going to feel? You're going to feel a little bit more buoyed up, a little bit more engaged. And what action will you take? Then you'll take a more positive action to your kids. Do you see that? Do you see that pattern? A good way to start it off, if I were to give you some homework tonight, number one is just to start to journal. You can start to journal your thoughts and your feelings. If you're not a journaler, if this isn't something you typically do, just a quick 5-minute, today I've been feeling this. And you can write down your feelings if you can't see your thoughts. And then you can kind of begin to dig into your thoughts through your feelings. If you are self-aware enough to recognize your thoughts right away, I'm not always, then you can start with your thoughts, and you can write down your thoughts, and then you can see the feelings, actions, and results that come of that. Now, because the same way that we got the new belief, got our current beliefs, same way we got into our rut, we can also get out of it. And that is by reframing our thoughts. And those reframes allow us to be different, allows us to learn and enjoy different experiences. And the master dreamer is the one who's a master of their own thoughts. And the way that happens is through consistent practice. And initially, if you're new to this, you want to do it on paper until you get good enough at it on paper that you can just do it in your own head. So thanks to Will Smith, thanks to Rudy, thanks to the nail. Hopefully we can recognize when we are getting stuck in our own thoughts and where we may have problems getting out of those thoughts. We can begin to recognize our thoughts and the resultant feelings, or maybe just to recognize our feelings, identify the thought, and begin to rewrite that thought. All right, that's the message for tonight. I'll pull up that last slide again for you, Lauren. So I would love to hear any questions, any concerns about this, or is this feeling like it's making sense, feeling good? Because again, in principle, I think this is actually fairly easy to navigate. The challenge, I think, comes in practice. And so it's really important on this. This is not a dream school you can just kind of listen to and go, oh, that was nice, if you want to have the impact. What has to happen is you have to begin to create a little bit of a discipline in your life. And again, just a daily journal will do this for you. To create a daily journal in which you're kind of identifying, recognizing, thoughts and beliefs. And you'll come to find that almost every negative result in your life has a root belief around it. And it's been really cool for me. I've loved it. All right, any final thoughts? Great. I'm happy you're liking this, Monica. Okay. Great. I think it's a fun idea to maybe do a little journal thread. I like that a lot. Okay. All right, folks, we do have some time tonight. If anyone has any questions, challenges, any thoughts that are getting in their way, we do have some time for some office hours style conversation tonight. If you're interested in participating in that, you can just raise your hand and let me know. And if not, well, that's great too. But tonight in particular, I would love it if our conversations could circle around the thoughts, beliefs, actions that we might be running into, and maybe even deeper beliefs that are getting in our way from even believing that a dream is possible, because that's where we sometimes run into our beliefs. Bryn. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Nope. Bryn, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. All right, Bryn, how are you? Nope. We're having technical difficulties tonight. We have a dog. We have a video trouble. There she is. Hi, Bryn. Oh, nope. How about now? No, I can't hear you. So close. Let me try this one more time. Try again. Nope, we can't hear you, Bryn. I don't know what's going on here. I jinxed us. I jinxed us by saying we were going to have technical difficulties. I'm sure you're not doing anything wrong. I've been having Zoom troubles all night. No, that's funny. So you'll just want to make sure that your mic is turned on your computer, on your phone, or wherever you're at. So I'm going to give you a minute to kind of go look into that and just test your mic. If you're on a computer, just go into the settings and test your mic, and then jump back on when you're ready, and we'll put you right to the front of the line. All right, so I'm sad that Bryn is having some technical issues, but she'll get it figured out, and then she'll jump right back on. Is there anyone else though while we're waiting? Megan, Lauren, Kim, Jenny, Jamie, anybody? Or is Bryn the only one? Oh, that would be a little scary. All right, Bryn, it looks like it's up to you. I'm going to bring you back in as a panelist just to see if we can't work that out. Nancy, I just saw your hand go up, so give me a second here. We'll try Bryn one more time. Bryn. No. Oh, wait.
Can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Okay.
Hooray.
I changed the setting.
How are you, Bryn?
I'm actually really good right now. So recently I'd been struggling to pay all of our month's bills on time, like getting the money the day of to pay the bill. So it was a stressful few months, and my goal this month, which kind of developed in the middle of the month, was to make enough to pay next month's bills before the end of this month. And I am $100 away from it.
What?
Yes. So.
Somebody give that lady $100 bill. No, we'll let Sharon.
Hey, I'll take it. So I'm actually really good, but I've kind of been feeling a little bipolar about the business lately, where I have good days like today, and then the next day I sell nothing, and I feel like I can't make this business work.
Yeah.
I just did the day before.
So tonight, that's a perfect lead-in. And so let's take a moment in which you're feeling like, can you think of a specific time in which you were feeling like this just doesn't work? This isn't going to work.
3 days ago, one of my goals lately has been to go live at least once a day, if not twice a day, 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
That's only been like the last week and a half, 2 weeks. And so probably half of those lives, I didn't sell anything. And so the days that I do sell stuff, I feel great.
All right. So let's pause for a second. So I think we're nailing it down. So the circumstance is what? What's the circumstance on the bad days?
I'm putting in lots of work and it doesn't feel like anything's coming from it.
So the circumstances aren't feelings. So what's the circumstance? I did a live presentation, didn't sell anything. That's a circumstance, right?
Yes.
That's objective. It's not like we're making up that we didn't sell anything. We just didn't sell anything. And when that happens, what thought shows up?
This isn't worth my time. It's not working out.
It's not working out. This isn't worth my time. Any other thoughts that pop up? By the way, it's rarely just one thought. It's like this whole cluster. It's
not good enough at this to.
Yeah, I'm not good enough is a common one that seems to pop up a lot. And so we have this kind of slew of thoughts that show up. I'm not good enough. This isn't going to work out. Why? This is a waste of time. Am I hitting it about right? Yeah. Okay. I only know because I've probably felt the similar thoughts, right? And when those thoughts show up, what feelings come?
Anxiety, stress.
Stress, anxiety, good.
Sad, I guess.
Sadness or kind of despair is a common one feeling. Despair is like the opposite of hope. It's like, this isn't going to work, right? And what actions tend to follow when you feel that way?
I just want to stop, just sit and eat something and watch Netflix. I have a binging Netflix issue.
Right, got it. And so when that happens, binging Netflix wants to happen next.
Yes.
And that's the action. And what result comes from binging Netflix?
I usually end up staying up too late and getting nothing done.
Okay. All right. So now if that was working for you, I would be like, great. Keep those thoughts up because it's leading to good actions. but I doubt the result that you're looking for is not getting very much done, right?
Right.
So let's go back and let's look at that original thought. I'm not good enough. This isn't working. It's a waste of time. In those moments, what might be a different thought that you could practice or try out in those moments when the circumstance is, I got on and I didn't sell anything?
Well, I mean, even if I don't sell anything, it's helping boost my algorithms. And so I've seen a lot more activity. And so that's always helpful.
Great. Okay. So first of all, you're saying, hey, I'm putting in the work, I'm building my algorithms, which is going to help me sell in the future. That's a great thought. What other thoughts might show up? Let's send an army of thoughts. An army of negative thoughts. Let's think of an army of positive thoughts.
Well, there are lots of different ways to sell, and lots of, people like variation. Some people like one way, some people like another. So if one way is not working, try another way.
Yeah. I'm trying out new variations, and even when I'm not selling, I'm still getting experience. All right, I like it. What else?
Well, I get better at it every time I do it.
I'm getting better. Even if I'm not playing in the game, shooting and practicing is going to help me be better. When it does come game time and I have a big audience, I'm going to crush it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if we thought those thoughts, if you got on that call and there's not even anyone there and you're just like rocking it, you're like enthusiastic, you're doing your thing, and you're selling, you're acting as if to sell, and you get done and you think to yourself, man, I don't know if I sold anything today, and it doesn't even matter because I got my things got my algorithm. I didn't even know the word. The algorithms got better. I'm getting better. I can tell I'm getting better at this. And dang it, I am the woman because I'm just putting in the work. Right? That's the attitude. Those are the thoughts you put in your brain. What kind of feelings do you think would stem out of that?
Well, good ones, because I have those feelings on the good days, and sometimes on the mediocre days. It's just the good day, bad day, and then good day. Yeah. And so, I mean.
And if we inserted those thoughts, how would you feel?
On top of it, on top of the world,
yeah, you'd be like, I'm rocking it. I own this business. I'm awesome. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, how would you act? What actions would come out of that?
Oh, my family appreciates it.
Right.
I'm a lot nicer and happier to be around.
Nicer and happier to be around. Sure. And I was glad you didn't say, and then I just go binge Netflix anyway, right? That would be.
No, there's no time to.
There's no time to, right? And what are the results? What results come of you being kinder to your family? You're more enthusiastic and positive. What results tend to come out of that?
They're happier, and it actually, I mean, the more positive I am, I notice the more successful I am.
The more you sell.
Like today.
Sell more. Mm-hmm.
So my son, I told you guys a couple months ago, my son ran away from school a couple times. Yeah. It was scary. And today when I was driving home from picking him up at school, I saw another little boy from my son's class walking home alone, and he's 5. And so I kind of followed him. He lives kind of same neighborhood. And so I waited for him at his house, called the school, and he was supposed to be on a bus going home, not walking home. And so his mom was super stressed out. It was the same thing that happened to me. And so just kind of helping her out made me feel great. And then the rest of the day when I was out and about just, doing errands and stuff, I sold things without even trying. And it's just because I felt great. It's like yes. Karma.
Yes. Yeah. And it really is. If we can get our thoughts right, man, it impacts our feelings, which impacts our actions.
Everything.
And good things start flowing into our lives. And so I love that example. So my challenge to you, and we'll see how it goes, is on the bad day, on the day where you don't sell anything, I might even, because again, it works better on paper, I might even write a little script. And what's going to happen is, we talked about this the other day when we talked about cognitive dissonance, is that your brain's going to present its most familiar thought, which is going to be the thought, I'm not good enough, this isn't working, I don't know what that crazy dream guy is saying. It doesn't matter. This isn't really true, right? You're going to, whatever ammunition it can throw at you, but you're just going to read out the 4 or 5 thoughts. Hey, I'm getting better at this. And you're going to say them out loud, and you're going to try to do your very best to muster some level of gusto behind, like, hey, listen, I'm rocking it. I'm rock. You just kind of get into it a little bit.
Reminding myself that I paid all of next month's bills.
Yes. You remind yourself of the successes, all of that. And see if that doesn't not only allow you to pay for next month's bills, but pay for several months' bills in a row, because that's the kind of results that will come out of those kinds of thoughts. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Give us an update. I'd love to hear how it goes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. Congratulations, by the way. Great news.
It's
I love to hear it.
exciting.
All right. Fantastic example. And it's true. On our good days, we're cruising, we're doing great, and it seems like more good comes. Well, that's because good thoughts are coming, good attitudes are showing up, and then those results are following.